Alright guys, welcome back to Madden 19. I'm so happy to be back playing Madden again. First off, I want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. The first thing I want you guys to do before you go ahead and look at this video is to look at the personnel sheet because it's very important to have the right players in the right positions in order to run this formation. Speaking of the formation, we are looking at single back Y trips from the New York Jets playbook. I'm going to show you what our audibles need to be set to. Our first audible is going to be double China. Then we have halfback dive, 4 dirties, and a PA wide receiver in. We're going to come out in the stretch because we know we have dive as the audible, and I'll show you the run plays from this formation. I'm going to run it against random play. Now keep in mind in this video we are against the Houston Texans defense with the Houston Texans O-line. So the O-line is not great, but I'm going to show you where the creases develop in order to run this rock with these two running plays. It's either going to be with the stretch to just inside the tackle on the right or all the way to the outside like you'll see in this example. And with the dive, it's either going to be in the right A-gap or the left A-gap. Pretty basic stuff. I'm not going to go too much into showing examples of the running game. You guys understand how to run the ball and how to find space. The main focus of this video is going to be on the passing concepts. I'm going to go through each one of our plays against different coverages. We're going to come out in the play Salem since we're not, if we're planning on passing the ball, we're going to come out in the play Salem. And I'm going to run this against Tampa 2, which is a very popular zone coverage, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to look at each one of these plays that are in our audibles and in our formation against the different zone coverages. I'm going to show you the adjustments you make to the plays in order to make them effective against that defense. So what I do against Tampa 2 is I streak the outside left receiver and I drag or in route the right side slot receiver. Your first read is going to be the halfback on the table route. If they don't play hard flats, that's an easy route to hit. That's about 3 to 4 yards. And if you can make a move with your receiver, you can turn it into a big gain with a shifty halfback. The drag route is a drag route. Everybody knows how to throw a drag. I won't explain that. Just look out for users lurking over the middle of the field. The last route you're going to look to when you run this play is going to be that in route on the backside. It takes a while to develop, but if the middle of the field clears out because of your streak and your drag, then you're going to look to that route last. Okay. Now we're going to look at double China versus Tampa 2. What we're going to do with double China is we're going to streak the tight end, and we're going to drag the slot receiver. Okay. Our reads on this play are going to be the drag first. Okay, and then the post second. That's going to get in a nice tender area against that zone coverage, since our tight end pushes that zone back in the middle of the field, the middle linebacker zone. And we have the drag underneath to keep the hook zone down. So your second read is the first read is the drag, second read is the post. Third read is going to be the in route, the second in route from the far right wide receiver. Now, why is that important to have those two routes? Because, well, if they man up that post route or they have a zone that they shade over the top, then the user is most likely going to be playing underneath aggressively on our drag route. And they're going to follow that route across the field, so you'll have a second route to force them to kind of hesitate on which one they want to cover. Now, you have to be careful because some users are very good. They can kind of bait you into that, but you'll get the timing of that as you practice more. This is this is 4 verticals against cover 2. Your first read is going to be down the seam to the slot receiver. Pass lead inside. Always possession catch that. Your second read is going to be down the sidelines. You want to pay attention to the safety in the corner. You cannot throw that at the safety fans out wide. It'll get picked off, okay? Your last read is going to be the halfback on the delay route. Be very mindful of where the defenders are. Don't force anything in the 4 verticals. Our last play that we're going to run against cover 2 is going to be our play action audible, the PA wide receiver in. First read is going to be your wheel route to the outside. Pay attention to what the corner does. If he shades inside, then you can throw that to the sideline. If you want, you can leave the tight end on the drag if you don't want to streak him, so you have an underneath option. That's a quick little hitter right there. Your last read should be this post route, and I know I lobbed it right there, but you can bullet past that and actually complete it. I guess my finger slipped off the button, but you want to possession catch that. And typically that in route doesn't really get open too much against Tampa 2 if you don't have like a drag route or another route on that side of the field. So if you streak the tight end, that in route's really not going to get open on the backside. Now we're going to take a look at cover 3 against Salem. What I do against this coverage with Salem is I will flat the tight end and slant the slot wide receiver or drag him. Our main read is going to be that in route on the backside because we want them to get out of the cover 3. It's a really annoying coverage this year. People love to just sit in it and not make any adjustments at all because it looks like it covers most of the field. So we need to have a few dots to get them out of that, and halfback is also a nice little read on that if they're not playing hard flats. Obviously, drag is always, an option. I'm not going to go into depth about how you throw a drag, but that's one of the other reads in the play. And if for whatever reason they're blitzing on the right side or the left side, you have the halfback and the tight end on flat routes. Now this is double China. We're going to go with your basic streak corner flat combination on the right with the tight end, slot receiver, and the far outside receiver. So you're going to flat the slot receiver and streak the outside guy. You're going to look for your halfback leaking out of the backfield late, especially if they're playing with purples out there or cloud flats. That delay route's going to be nice. If you want to try to hit the post and they're super keen in on that flood on the right side, instead of having the tight end on a corner route, just streak him and drag the slot receiver just like we did before against Tampa 2 and pass lead that post to the inside with a possession catch. Now we're going to look at cover 3 against 4 verticals. So this 4 verticals is a little special. It has a little out and up route on the outside. Do not fall in love with throwing that particular pass that I just showed. It's an option, but don't make it your main read. Okay, it's the first thing you look at, but don't ever force it. Okay, your second read is going to be down the slot if they play hard flats and that purple route won't carry. But then your last read is going to be the halfback. It's always a great way to annoy people who run cover 3 is to have a halfback leak out of the backfield late down the middle of the field. PA wide receiver in, streak the tight end, look for the post route coming over the middle. It's going to take some time to hit this pass, so you probably should know your protections and if your opponent's bringing pressure, know where to slide, things of that nature. If you decide to leave the tight end on the drag, the backside in route will get open, and the users will probably be, especially if you've hit them with this play before, concerned with the post route over the top, and they'll probably drift back. So that's a nice little way to mix it up with the PA wide receiver and against cover 3. Now we're going to look at cover 4, everyone's favorite coverage because it has so many zones on the field, especially from the 3-4 odd. We're going to run this Salem the exact same way as we would run it against cover 3. We're going to flat the tight end, drag the slot receiver, look to our halfback, then look to our in route. And if they're playing hard flats, our last read, if the in route's covered, is the out route on the left. But go ahead and hop into practice mode, shade underneath from your cover 4, and you'll see that'll get open. This is against double China. We're going to do our same passing concept. This is a very similar way to beat cover 4 as it is cover 3, with one small exception is that there's 2 deep safeties instead of 1, so throwing post routes is a little bit more difficult, and you have to do a little bit more on offense with your route combinations in order to get it open. Same rules apply here. Streak, flat, corner combination. Check the flat zones to see if they drop to that corner, or check your user, obviously. If he follows that, you want to check out of that read entirely. So obviously drags are fantastic against cover 4, so you want to keep a lookout for that. In routes with a flat, also very good. We're going to go against cover 4 with the PA wide receiver in and show you what to do. Now, like I said before, it is hard to go deep with the posts on cover 4, so we're going to try to stay underneath. We've got 2 drags and then the 1 post over the top with the in route. Now, you're not always going to be able to hit that in route, especially when people start bringing the safeties up. The post. When people start bringing the safeties up, that post won't be open. So make sure you check your drags first. Those should always be your first options against cover 4 because it covers the deep area of the field so well. And now we're actually going to look at man-to-man coverage. And if people decide that they're going to blitz you out of cover 0 or cover 1 or anything like that, they're really, really going to pay for it dearly in this formation, especially if they press. I'm going to show you some of the routes that really torch man coverage out of this formation in Salem. What I like to do is I like to streak the tight end and drag the slot receiver, motion him over. That will get an unpressed drag, and with a fast receiver, you'll be able to turn that upfield for a big game. You also can hit the in route. The out route on the far left is unbumpable, so as soon as he makes that cut to the outside, assuming he has a decent amount of medium route running, he will break free of the defender and not clear some space, create some separation. Now, double China looks like it will be very, very good against two-man under, but you have to have the route running advantage. I know I just got sacked right there, but you saw what was open. The corner out, the drag, and the post will get open if you have a really good route running advantage. It's not a super hard cut like it was in past years to where it gets a lot of separation. So make sure you check your right stick advantages on your route running. So I don't tend to use this play too much against two-man under unless I know I have superior players. The play that I really love running against two-man under is actually 4 verticals, and I think it's this next example where we show why. I'm almost positive this next clip is 4 verticals. So remember how I said that route on the outside of the field goes out and up? Well, it's actually unbumpable. It's impossible for your receiver to get jammed at the line. I'll show you in the replay here what happens because it's hard to see from the angle of the quarterback. He goes out at the snap of the ball and gets a speed burst up the field, and Will Fuller Jr. has 5, 6, 7 yards of separation. If you pass lead that to the outside against a two-man under, that's literally impossible to guard. If they decide that they're going to put a purple out there, you just wait until a little bit later and then lob it over their head. If they put a hard flat out there, well, that's a touchdown too. So they're kind of in a bad spot. The only adjustment I make to this play is I'll put the solo receiver on a comeback route because the comeback routes are really good against man coverages here. Excuse me. Especially if they have superior man coverage, superior route running. PA wide receiver in, you're going to look to the wheel because sometimes the wheel will get that separation against man coverage and then get that little boost up the field. The in route's good, gets a few yards of separation, and the post route, you have to read that early. You'll see very early on if it's a win. Right there, that's a win because I already have separation. You're going to go ahead and throw that. That's going to be it, guys, as far as the passing concepts. This offense is very easy to run, but it's extremely effective. And I think the more you lab it and get into it, the more of it's going to evolve and take on kind of your personality of how you want to run it. But that's all, guys. Make sure you check out the Tier 2 sub for the defense plus this video. And then Tier 3 subs are going to get an entire Jets offensive ebook.